Hi guys, Shashar here. Welcome to this new module. This module is about introducing you to SharePoint Online, and we are also going to briefly talk about SharePoint on-premise just to give you a background understanding. We have seen the email side of Office 365. However, though emails are still most used functionality of Office 365, but businesses have started to use other functionalities as well. In this module, we are going to talk about few such functionalities. So here is what we are going to cover in this module. What is SharePoint and SharePoint Online, SharePoint Online Admin Panel, Introduction to OneDrive, accessing SharePoint and OneDrive on desktop, and Introduction to Microsoft Teams and Office 365 groups. So what is SharePoint? That's again a Google definition. SharePoint is a web-based collaborative platform that integrates with Microsoft Office, launched in 2001. SharePoint is primarily sold as document management and storage system, but the product is highly configurable and usage varies substantially among organizations. Okay, so couple of things here. First of all, this product was launched in 2001, and at that time it was called as a SharePoint Foundation server, and as you can see here, it was a freeware at that time. Okay, I think it was free because Microsoft was using us all as a guinea pig for their new software, so they just used to give it to us, and if we want to use it, and it was definitely a huge pain to use the product at that time because it was very difficult to manage and use. Now let's talk about what is SharePoint. So SharePoint is actually a document management and storage system. So primarily how a SharePoint server is configured is that there is a front-end application for SharePoint which you install, and if you install it on number of machines, then like in high availability, then we call it something like a SharePoint farm, and in the backend, all the data which you put in SharePoint, that gets stored in a SQL database. So SharePoint is a combination of SQL database running in the backend and SharePoint server running in the front end. It is primarily a document management and storage system because it is highly compatible with Microsoft Office, and you can easily store and save your Microsoft Office files, and in fact all kind of other files in SharePoint, and it will go ahead and turn it into a database and store it in SQL. However, it is highly configurable as well. So on SharePoint, you can go ahead and configure various controls, various small applications in .NET, and you can put it on the website. Like you have an Android phone or an iOS phone, you are able to download and install applications on your phone. Now, SharePoint is not that easy to manage. However, it is getting easier and easier day by day, but in the similar way, you can actually download and install applications, or you can buy something which is called as web parts. So you can buy SharePoint web parts in the market. A lot of freeware web parts are also available, and you can use those web parts to be integrated on your SharePoint site, and then people can use it for various purposes. Like I have seen companies build an internal leave calendar on a SharePoint site, so employees can go and apply leaves there. Or companies have built an expense reimbursement system entirely in SharePoint. Honestly speaking, you are just limited by your imagination. SharePoint is a platform. You can go ahead and build a highly complex program and you can put on top of it. There are a lot of companies in the world who help people who have SharePoint, companies who have SharePoint, and now especially because SharePoint Online is such is a service which is available for free or is included in even the most basic license of Office 365. A lot of companies have come up which create various application solution which can be put on SharePoint, and the companies can use these application solution for the productivity of their company. However, from the point of view of this training, we are going to look at SharePoint as a document library and data storage, because I will tell you 90% of the people still use it as that only. Okay. So the earlier version of SharePoint until 2007 were really a pain to manage, and like I said, they were free as well. However, once again, since SharePoint 2010 onwards, the solution has improved, but definitely not as much as Exchange 2010. So like I told you that even Exchange 2007 was Microsoft's first attempt to make a very robust and versatile email server, and though they did not succeed much because of the added complexity in Exchange 2007, but by Exchange 2010 onwards, the product has improved tremendously. Now, similarly, SharePoint 2007, SharePoint 2003 was free. It was called as WSS, Windows Storage Server or something at that time, or a SharePoint Foundation Server like we saw it in the last slide. But up till SharePoint 2007 or before SharePoint 2007, it was free. I think SharePoint 2007 was the first paid licensed version of SharePoint, and then SharePoint 2010 onwards, it was like a paid version, and it was an expensive license, and it of course got a lot better than what it used to be as SharePoint 2003, but it wasn't as cool as Exchange 2010. Like Exchange 2010 was definitely one of the amazing software, and it is still running in a lot of companies, and it is very robust, and it is functioning totally fine. In fact, right now we are in middle of a Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2016 migration. So we are migrating somebody over to Exchange 2016. So this Exchange 2010, we set it up for them almost 7 or 8 years ago, and yeah, it's going absolutely wonderfully until today, and even today there is no problems with it. It's just that Exchange, Microsoft has stopped supporting Exchange 2010 anymore, so the companies are being forced to upgrade the product. Otherwise, it's an amazing product. However, I would not be able to say the same thing about SharePoint 2010. It was a good product, definitely a lot better than the versions which was before it, but not in the league of Exchange 2010. The biggest problem with SharePoint was that it was not user friendly, and even today I don't find it extremely user friendly, but it has got a lot better. Developers liked it, but it used to be a bit too raw for an end user to use it. So if you hire a developer to create .NET solutions for your SharePoint and create a complete farm of it, then maybe you can use it. But if you just go in as an administrator, as an end user, and try to set up the whole SharePoint site, then it's not something very convenient. Now, SharePoint management also involves two kind of people. One is SharePoint administrator, that is people like you and me, who have information about how a software work on a Windows server, how do you install it, how do we manage it, and then we have got information about how SQL database works and how you can troubleshoot SQL database and things around them. Then there are second set of people who are SharePoint developers. These are .NET and C Hash and other Java etc. expert. These are programmers. What these people do, they create solutions which can be put on top of SharePoint, and your SharePoint can become better. Now, we usually are not SharePoint developers. The infrastructure accelerator program is all about being an admin and managing the infrastructure. Development is more about programming and creating solutions, so we don't do that. SharePoint Online hasn't been trouble-free as well. So since SharePoint 2010, Microsoft was in a place where they had launched Office 365, so they also launched SharePoint Online. And SharePoint Online also initially hasn't been trouble-free. That's one of the reasons that most of the businesses have stayed away from it for quite a while, despite of the 1 terabyte of personal storage that Microsoft offer. Solutions like Dropbox and Box were able to make their way into businesses because of the end user convenience that they offered. So let's talk about it. Microsoft, since very beginning, has been offering 1 terabyte of free storage on SharePoint to each user in Office 365. So you can put a lot of document and data there. However, SharePoint was not that convenient to manage. And because of that reason, businesses were not able to adapt to it. And all these companies like Dropbox, Box, Sooner, Autotask, these companies came up with their version of online cloud-based solution, and they were completely dedicated to their cloud-based solution. And of course, the interface and the management of Dropbox is a lot easier for an end user to use. Whereas SharePoint was an amazing solution, but it needed a lot of further investment from the developer's point of view to make it usable for an end user. So SharePoint wasn't very famous until very recently. Even the OneDrive client, which was offered to synchronize SharePoint document libraries and OneDrive to client PC, they were full of bugs, and it created a lot of problems, like it used to get disconnected, it did not used to synchronize constantly, it always used to get locked on files. Like if you have opened a file, it will start showing an error message that I cannot synchronize the file because you have opened the file. However, in the recent time, like in past couple of years, SharePoint has improved a lot. The online admin panel has become a lot more administrator friendly. Like of course, you still can't go ahead and do a drag drop kind of websites. You can, to a certain extent, you can create a nice looking website on SharePoint, and this is not going to be a public facing website. This will be an internal website and intranet for your organization. So you can create it on SharePoint. It has become easier than what it used to be before, but still it is difficult, and a usual administrator is not able to do it because it's not a very simple drag and drop operation which you have to do. You need some kind of a skills to manage a SharePoint online site. However, most of the businesses, how they have started using SharePoint is that they have started creating groups of people, and those groups of people can create a SharePoint site and use it as a document library. So they have started it using like a online storage for their different business groups. So instead of file server, you can use SharePoint. And the SharePoint synchronization client, or the OneDrive client, which is available nowadays to synchronize SharePoint or OneDrive on your PC, is absolutely beautiful. Like since Windows 10 onwards, the latest version of SharePoint OneDrive client which has come in, it is full of functionalities, and it synchronizes the data flawlessly. There is hardly anything to complain about it, right? So let's go to the next section, which is Introduction to the SharePoint Admin Panel. So in this section, what we are going to do is that I'm just going to give you a demo of SharePoint sites and the multiple admin settings which are available in SharePoint Admin Console. So let's get started. This is my Windows 10 client. You can do it on any computer. Could have done it on my Mac as well, but yeah. So I go to this URL, portal.office.com. I'm going to log in with my account. So this is a typical login portal which a user would see. So as you can see, all the apps available to me are here. Not all of them, whatever the recent apps I have used or what Microsoft at this moment believe are or should be my favorite apps, so they are here. And if I go to all apps, I will get to see all the other apps. Also, I can go to this waffle icon, and these apps are available here, and then I can go all apps. You can even search for apps here. So SharePoint. So they'll be available. Now, because I'm an admin, I get also access to the admin app. If I had not been admin, so or a regular user, then this admin icon would not have been available here. All right, so typically for a user, SharePoint looks like this, and he has an option, if the admin has allowed him, to create a site here. There are two kind of sites which are available. One is a team site and the other one is a communication site. So a team site is to share document, have conversation with your team, keep track of events, manage tasks, more with a site connected to Office 365 group. Um, Communication site is more like a website, publish dynamic and beautiful content to people in your organization and keep them informed and engaged in topics, events, and projects. So communication site is more about creating like a good website. Like this is a default communication site which is created with this Office 365 deployment. And you can see the photographs here, and you have a lot of options here to do a new post, a new link, and you can even edit this page if you want. So you can go here and make changes to this, like if you want to remove this image, if you want to remove this, or if you want to add a different kind of image, you want to remove this section, you can do that, or you want to duplicate this section. See, all these sections which you are seeing here, they're ultimately a web part, and web part is a custom code which is developed and deployed in SharePoint. This could be developed in .NET most likely, and maybe in Java, etc. as well. Now, these web parts were developed by default by Microsoft, and they have given it to you for free. But there are a lot of web parts which are available. I think SharePoint web parts to buy. There must be a store online from where you can buy it. So a lot of companies make various kind of SharePoint web parts, ready to go SharePoint solutions. So what you can do is that you can buy a good web part from them, which is fixes your requirement. Like there are leave management softwares available, expense management softwares available. These are like the applications which you download on an Android or iOS platform. And all these products are available online, and you can find some of the web parts which are good for you and deploy them. Once again, as a SharePoint admin, this should not be your job. This is more of a SharePoint developer job. From SharePoint admin point of view, communication sites are not something which you might be very much involved in. The only place where you can be involved is the document library, because document library is same in a communication site or in a team site. And these document library, they can you can put all kind of data here. So like if so I'll give you example from a team site point of view. This is a communication site, and this is a document library in a communication site. But ideally what's going to happen is that, let's say you are the owner of the company and you want to have a site created and data shared with all the other owners of and directors of a company. So what you can do is you can create a team site, or maybe you're in the accounting team of the company and you want to have a common place to have data for all the accounting people in cloud. So you can create a team site, and you can say, let's say accounting team site, and it will also create an email address for you. This site is available. You can put some kind of a description here. Hi guys, I am creating this site to keep together the accounting team data, or whatever you want to write. So privacy settings, if you make it public, then the all the users in your company, whether they are from accounting or management or from owners or from housekeeping, everybody will be able to access this site. But if you make it private, then only the people who you give access to will be able to access it. You have all the languages available, so you can make the site in any language you like. Uh, you can provide additional owners of the site if you want to. So by default, the user who created this site is the owner. But let's say you also want to make Sam owner, so you made him, and you want to make Rita a member of the site. So Rita can see the content of the site, and Sam can be the owner of the site like you. So this site got created for you. Again, you can do some kind of a management here to add some conversations, and uh, this is going to, so when you created this site, it basically created a mailbox for you as well. So Teams, Office 365, SharePoint, and Exchange are highly integrated now, and they are integrated because of a component which is called as Office 365 groups, which we are going to show you later. But this is a document library where you can have all your data. So what you can do is that if you have a on-premise folder structure, you can go ahead and upload. Let's say that you had all the data in your computer C drive. So let's say you already had a share on your PC where you have accounting data, and you will just find this, browse it, and you will upload it here, and all this folder will get uploaded here. Hopefully, I think it gave me an error message that there is no data inside that folder. Do I still want to upload it? So I'll say accounting data upload. This upload, this will upload all the files on computer. Only do this if you trust this site. Yes. So yeah, so it should have uploaded it. You also have an option to just go here and drag and drop this folder here. So that also works. You also have an option to directly create a folder here, or new folder created from web. So everybody can access this website. Look here, there are three members to the site. John Doe is a owner, Sam is a owner, and Rita is a member. If you have more people in your company, you can add them, and then they will be able to access the site. So all these options are available here. You can directly create Word, Excel, PowerPoint document here. And the best thing is that you can also synchronize this drive to your PC. And how you do that is that you set up the OneDrive client, and for that you have to sign in with your account. This is the first time I'm setting it up. So this interface and the whole flow has become absolutely wonderful in past few years, but believe me, this OneDrive client used to be a pain in the wrong place, I may say, earlier. And you can also have a mobile app for OneDrive. So, yep. So look here, accounting team site document, and all the folders are available on your PC, and you don't even have to go to the website to access this data. This is available like a local file share on your computer. And if you have access to multiple sites like this, then they will all show here, one after another, and you can go into each site of, and the best thing which is happening now is that this data is not getting downloaded on your computer. So you see the icon here, it basically means that it is visible to you. So there could be like terabytes of data available here, and your PC might just have 100 GB of local hard drive because you bought an expensive PC which had a beautiful hard drive technology like a SSD, or even better than SSD, and you couldn't have got a 1 terabyte SSD, but otherwise it would have made the computer very expensive. So you only have a computer with 127 GB of SSD, and you can't have terabytes of data on that computer. So Microsoft has solved that problem for you with the latest OneDrive client, with a feature which is called as OneDrive on demand. So what's happening here is that whatever data is available, it is just visible on your computer. It's not downloaded on your computer. But as soon as you go ahead and double click on it, let's say that I'll create a file here. I'll go and create a file, Word document. This is the Word on web. So if the basic license of Office 365, which is like $6, $7, whatever it was, if you buy that, then you don't get the Office installation for your PC, but this web version of Word, Excel, PowerPoint is available to you. Hello, test document. So I created a document, and I will name the document test document, and the document is automatically saved. So there is no save button in cloud because the data is always getting saved. As soon as you're writing, it's getting saved. So this document got created here. Now this document is available to me here, but it is not downloaded yet. Okay, it's a 16 for 4 KB document, but it is not downloading on my PC yet, and it's not using memory on my PC as of now, or storage on my PC as of now. As soon as I double click on it, yes, if you noticed, it quickly downloaded on my computer, and it will open in the Word on my computer. I can do whatever work I have to do on this document. So this is the first time I am logging into this computer, so it's asking me to sign in with the correct credentials. So I won't go into all that process, but this document is available here, and if I'm done, when I'm done with this document, I can go ahead and say free up the space, Now this document is synchronized to cloud. Whatever changes I did, that is synchronized to cloud, and once again it is not using the storage on my PC. So this is something which is called as OneDrive on demand. And if I go to settings here, you would see, yep, save file space and download files as you use them, files on demand. So the files on demand is an amazing feature, and I use it extensively because I have access to a lot of data from my company, and my computer is one such poor computer, a Macintosh, which only has 127 GB of hard drive. But believe me guys, I have not faced the problem of managing hard drive at all, because I have access to all the data, and as soon as I am running out of space, what I do is that I go to my various OneDrive folders, and I just go here and I say free up space. So if I have downloaded a lot of documents which I'm not using anymore, they will all get deleted, but of course they are available in cloud. So when I want to get them back, they're available. So OneDrive on demand is amazing. A lot of people can use it. Now, so that's how a SharePoint site is created. Now let's quickly go ahead and have a look at the admin panel as well. So every user, an end user by default, has rights to create a SharePoint site. However, it's a problem as well, because you don't want everybody to be able to create the site, because if everybody starts to create a site in your tenant, you quickly end up with thousands and thousands of sites which they created it just for the fun of it. They don't even use it. But as an organization, when you have so much of data in cloud, as an IT division of the organization, you become responsible for that data, and you need to make sure that all that data is relevant, as in use, and people are able to people have a purpose for this document, and you are not just keeping them for the sake of keeping them, because as an IT function of the company, it is your responsibility to make sure that data is always available and is always backed up. So your responsibility is increasing, and the people just created the site for fun, so you don't want anything like that. So there are options available where you can limit the people from creating the site, and hopefully we'll see some options here. Now this is a standard SharePoint dashboard. If you notice how I came here, once again I just went to the admin panel, and then I went to the SharePoint URL from there. And this is the dashboard. It's basically showing you the details of storage and file activity, if people have shared or removed files, and what is the usage of SharePoint, because there is no usage as of now, so it's almost 0 but these are some beautiful graphs which you can show to management, put them in some PPTs to show the utilization of SharePoint. Now if you go under sites, you have got active sites. So this was the original communication site which was created by default by Microsoft, and this is the site which we created. We have option here to go ahead and delete the site. Maybe this site can't be deleted. I can delete this site. This was created by a system account. I'm sure I can go into somewhere in depth and take the ownership of this site, and then I would be able to delete it. But let's leave that here for now. This is the site which we created. These are the admins of this site. Let's say that you want to edit who are the people. You as an administrator, like this user John Doe or Sam, could have created a site, but because you are the almighty SharePoint administrator, you have access to everything. So you can go ahead and add yourself as an owner to this site, or you can remove owners from this site, or if they say that you want, can you please add another user, because I showed you how simple it was to share the site with additional people, and a SharePoint site owner is and will be able to do that. But typically what happens is that in organizations, the people who created the site, they will leave the organization, they will go on, and then the accounting team will keep using that site, and one fine day they will wake up and they'll say that, you know, none of us is administrator on this site and we can't add or remove people. Or in other cases, maybe they are even the administrator, but they are the end user, they don't know how to do these things. So they will log a ticket with the IT help desk, and they will say that remove these people from the site and add these people to the site. What you can do, you can easily come here and you can manage the membership here. So you can manage owners, you can manage additional admins, whatever you want to do. You have options here. you can put sharing permission. So on this site, what do you want to do? You want that this site should be shared with everybody. So you can say it can be shared with anyone. So this will be even shared with external people. This can only be shared with new and existing guests. So you can like external users of your company. So Office 365 also provide you a functionality. I would just quickly show you here. You have got something which is called as guest users. So active users are your Active Directory users, and guest users are that you can share data in OneDrive or other SharePoint sites, etc., with users which are who are outside your company, who are not part of your company domain, because collaboration even goes outside your company. So you can share the data with them, and for that, what you do is that when you go to your SharePoint sites, etc., and you basically invite people from outside, so you put their email address and you invite the external users from there. And when you invite external users, they get created under the guest users here in Active Directory. So these are the sharing permissions. You may want to say that no, this site cannot be shared by outside people. So only the people in an organization. You can say existing guest only. So maybe internal users, as well as there are existing people who have already been shared from outside companies. So you would allow them. You can say new and existing guest, or you can say anyone. So basically you have those options, or you can say limit sharing by domain. So you already know that there is a company called as companyb.com, which is your partner organization. So you say, yes, I want to share it with external people, but I only want to share it with one particular company. Let's say this is a site which Apple is managing, the iPhone maker, and they are working in joint collaboration with Google on some Android based like a interlinked application or something. So they create a document library for that, and then they add Google's domain here. So only the site can be shared between the email addresses of apple.com as well as google.com. Now these settings are available. Now default sharing link. So when you create a sharing link of a folder, then so I'll show you. This is basically, let's say that you are here and you want to share this folder with people. So you can go ahead and you do this share, and you get with the options which are available depending on the setting which you have done here. Depending on that, you will get options here, and you can say who with whom you want to share. These are the same settings, and then you can put the email address of that person. You can put a message here, and then you can send an invite to him. He'll get an email with a link to access the data. So it's saying that what is the type of default link. So you can choose which is going to be the default link. So you can do that, and it's saying same as organization level settings, because these settings you can apply on site level as well as on the whole organization level. In fact, we usually apply the settings on organization level under policies, which I'm going to show you shortly. Expiration of the links. So if you want to put some expiration of the links, and once again, same as organization level settings, same as organization. So all these settings are available to organization level as well. Anyways, this is the view of your sites which are available to you, and you can look at the sharing settings, you can look at the permissions, and you can create even new sites. So if we have the option enabled that the end user cannot create the site themselves, then we will get an option that people will log a ticket to the service desk, and you will be asked to create a site, and then you can follow the same pattern. Whether it's a team site or communication site, the user will tell you, and you will go ahead and set up the site for him the same way we set it up before. Okay. Now, if you delete any site, it will be available for 93 days here, after which it will be permanently deleted. Unless there is a retention policy applied on the site, we are going to show you. If there is a retention policy to hold the site permanently, then it will never be deleted and you will be able to access it always. So sharing, This is the same sharing settings which I was showing you at site level. This is organization level sharing, and this is the setting for both SharePoint and OneDrive. So how do you want to share, or what is the level of sharing you want to allow for the OneDrive users or the SharePoint users? And these are the same settings which were available, and these are self-explanatory settings. Just read through them and understand them. And these are various security settings which you can push from the SharePoint admin panel. Access control, you also have option that you can specify where your site should be able to be accessed from. So maybe you want them to be accessed only within your office location. So what you can do is that you can enable this and you can put the public IP of your office locations. Then despite of all this data being available on cloud, only the people who are inside your network behind your public IP will be able to access it. Uh, you can disable the access of sites from the apps which don't use modern authentication. So modern authentication and legacy authentication is a topic of Word, Excel, PowerPoint and Outlook. So read about it. Basically there is a different authentication mechanism which is being used now than what used to be used in the earlier days. So you can say that you want to be highly secured, and you want to only allow the applications which is Office 2013 onwards, which uses modern authentication. So you can do that. You can disable the old legacy application from able to access this site. Unmanaged devices, so you can say that only let the people who are joined a domain access these sites, or don't let them access it from their home computers which are not part of the corporate domain. So you can do settings like that. Once again, self-explanatory, you can read more about them, but these are the settings which are available. Now, these are some settings about the admin panel. So you can use the new SharePoint Admin Center, which we are using right now, or you can use the classic SharePoint Admin Center, which is the older version of SharePoint Admin Center. They give you both the options because, like I said, I told you that Microsoft keep changing the admin center, and a lot of users don't like it. So they want to go back to their old admin center, or maybe temporarily you want to go back because you have to do something urgently and you remembered where it was in the classic admin center, and now you are coming here and this admin center is entirely changed. So you may want to just go back to the classic admin center and quickly get your job done. So this is an option here available. Once again, some settings about allow user to create modern pages, allow commenting on modern pages. I don't know what exactly that means, but whatever it means, you can allow and disable it from here. If it will send notifications when the files are changed and all those, so you can say allow notifications or not. Site creation. Remember I told you that you can block the users from creating sites. So what you can say is you can uncheck it, and now users will not be able to create the site. And you can tell the default time zone for the site, so you may want to keep it to your local time zone, whatever it is, and you may want to change that. And yeah, storage limits. So you have, I think, 1 terabyte of approx storage available for SharePoint in every tenant. More than that, if you want, you can buy it. But you have got two options to assign the storage. One is you assign it manually. So every time when you are creating a site, a team site or a communication site, it will ask you the amount of storage which you want to assign to the site. You can say assign this 20 GB to this site, 30 GB to that site, 100 GB to that site, whatever you want to do. The problem with that approach is that the allocation will be static. So if a site you gave 100 GB to it and they are not even using it, then the 100 GB is getting wasted. Whereas there is another user to whom you gave 10 GB of site and he has already consumed the 10 GB, and now he's asking you to give him more space. So there is a problem with it. So the best option is that you leave it on automatic, and then what's going to happen is that all the storage remains in a pool, and whoever needs however storage or how much ever storage, they will be provided that on the go. So you leave it on automatic here. Okay. I don't know what this term store and content gallery is. This is more about the development side of the things. But of course, feel free to read more about it, understand more about it, and use it if you want to. migration manager. So I told you the one of the option for you to migrate your data to Office 365 is very easy. You create the document libraries like I created here on this site, and you sync it to your PC like I have synchronized here, and now it is available on my PC. And let's say if the data was available on my PC, I will just simply go ahead and let's say I want to put this data on the cloud, so I'll just copy these folders and migrate it over here, and this will get uploaded. See, so where did I send it? Oh, I sent it to a wrong location, sorry. So what I now it got uploaded somewhere in SharePoint, but what I wanted was I wanted to put it inside the team site. So it'll get uploaded here. And if you see, it should show up here. Yeah, so this package has got uploaded about a minute ago from my PC. So this is one of the way that you can migrate your data. So OneDrive client is amazing. However, there are situations where there are a lot of document libraries, a lot of data which is available on site, and you want to use some kind of a tool. So Microsoft provide all these migration managers and solutions. You can try to do this migration yourself, but once again, SharePoint migration, if the day you reach to those levels to be able to do this, you are not looking for entry level jobs. These are advanced works. So these tools are available. There is a SPMT tool, SharePoint migration tool. What this does is basically it looks for it does an analysis on your environment, because SharePoint Online does not allow more than certain alphabets in a file name. So if you have really long file names, it could be a problem, or it may have a problem with certain file extensions, like it may not allow a document, it may not allow xlx document or an excel file. Of course it allows it, I'm just trying to give you an example. So what this SPMT tool does is that if it will analyze your data and it will tell you the problems beforehand, so you can fix those issues. Okay, so yeah, that is how you use SharePoint. And typically if a user has to access a SharePoint site, he will go to his portal.office.com, and he will go to his SharePoint URL, and or he may have put the site in his favorites, and whatever sites he is part of, he will be able to see them. And otherwise he might be given a URL, and he can directly put that URL in the browser and open the site, and then he can access the data from here, and as an end user he uses it that way. As an admin, you have got all these options available in the SharePoint Admin Center. You can use them and do more and more work. So yep, that's your SharePoint Admin Center. We will go back to so I told you how to create sites and use sites. I told you how to do sharing and access control policies. So that's all done. Let's go back to the training, and now let's see what is the next module. OneDrive. All the users have two kind of data: common business data, which they share with colleagues, and personal data, work related or otherwise. So, an accounting team and a person who works in accounting team, he may have some data which he wants to, on which he actively works with the other colleagues, and he put all that data on in the common file share so that everybody can access it. But then he can have some personal data as well. Like personal data could be actually his personal data, photographs of his family, or maybe some medical records for himself, or maybe he has access to some files which he don't want to share with the other people in the organization. Maybe he has to keep them private. They are work related, but he can't put it on the common share. So earlier in the on-premise solutions, even if you go into users property, and I showed you that how we used to keep the data on file server was that we used to create file shares for common data, and then we also created something which is called as a home folder for user. And how we did that was we went into the properties of the user and we specified in Active Directory, and then we specified the path of the home folder. So that home folder got configured on user's PC, and he got access to the common document share for his team, and then he got access to the document library. So Microsoft, even in file servers, have promoted the concept of shared drives and also users home folder. So that's what I just spoke to you about. Now similarly in SharePoint on-premise, there existed SharePoint sites for common collaborative use and my site for personal use. So users used to have a concept of my site. So common site was for collaboration and my site was a personal data. Now in SharePoint Online, and in fact SharePoint 2013 on-premise onwards, the concept of my site got transformed into OneDrive. So there was not any more my site, there were OneDrive. And what used to be a site itself got converted into storage only, because they saw that a lot of users are not creating my sites as their own profile personal page and sort of things, which they expected earlier. The expectation of that was that user is going to use the my site as his personal social page, and he's going to share and update his page and share it with people, and people can comment on each other pages. But by the time Office 365 and these things, Microsoft bought another solution which is called as Yammer, which is the social side of things. For my site, the concept was getting useless. The only purpose of my site which they saw useful was to keep the personal data. So my site got converted into OneDrive, which is just a cloud-based storage, not a website anymore. Microsoft offers users a personal storage of 1 terabyte in cloud, which they can use to store data as well as share it with other people by giving them access to specific folder. So Microsoft offers OneDrive storage of 1 terabyte to all the users, and they can use it for their own data, or they can share it with external data. OneDrive is a straight competition to other cloud-based storage companies like Dropbox or Box or Sooner, etc. Okay, so that's what OneDrive is. I'll quickly show you how do we access OneDrive. So if you are on web, you have option to access OneDrive from here, and this is basically a document library. It's not a site anymore. These are other sites which you have access to. These are the SharePoint sites, but as far as OneDrive is concerned, this is OneDrive, and you can go ahead and upload data here directly the same way I showed you how to do it for a SharePoint site, because ultimately OneDrive is a SharePoint as well. Okay, it is in the SharePoint. So you can upload the data here, or you can synchronize this document library on your PC. However, what happens is Windows 10 is so amazing that it would have automatically done it here. Actually, it hasn't done it here yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings here, and it say OneDrive is not syncing yet. So what I can do is that I can go ahead and start the sync here. However, the easiest way for you always is that whatever document library OneDrive which you want to sync, you can always just click on this sync button here, and you can say this, and now it is syncing. So my OneDrive is now getting synchronized on my PC, and I can go ahead and create folder, share personal folder, and this personal folder will get uploaded here. Once again, it's a 1 terabyte drive, and I can put a lot of data in it, and I don't have to need to have all that data on my PC, because I use OneDrive on demand, and the data can get uploaded to cloud, and once it is uploaded, I can say free up space. So now the data is on cloud, and I'm not using anymore my personal space on my hard drive. See, the data came here, and I can even share this data with external people. Let's say that you want to, you put your pictures here. So you say new folder pictures, and you want to share this pictures. Let's say if it is Sam's computer and he want to share those pictures with his wife. So you get a share option here as well. And OneDrive client is really awesome now. So you can provide the option. Once again, these are the same options which are available in SharePoint, because this is ultimately SharePoint. And you can choose which and how you want to, and you can set an expiration date for the link, that after this date, this link will not be able to be accessed. You can set a password for the link, so they can you can tell them that I have sent you a public link, but it is password protected. So you can do that, or you can use very specific technology, like they would have to log in, and the Active Directory guest users technology, which I just showed you. So you can choose whatever works for you, and that's how you can share the data. And also you can share it from here. So you have got the same options available here, which I showed you there, and you can share the data from cloud as well. And of course, this data is available on your phone as well, and everywhere where you need it to be. So this is OneDrive. Now, once again, the OneDrive also has an admin center, which is under the SharePoint admin center. Where is it? So this is the OneDrive admin center. And as a organization, you can set up a sharing policy. You may want to prevent the users to only internal sharing or specific sharing. Again, read what all these options means, and you can set up these sharing settings, or you can set up the external sharing settings, whom they can share. These options are ultimately the same options which I showed to you whenever you are doing a right click and share on any document. These are the options which you are getting. Anyone, people in specific, basically, these are the same options in different language. So you have got all those settings that allow or block sharing with people in specific domains. So you want to say that allow in only this domain, or you can say block in these domains. So you don't want to share with anyone from gmail.com. So this way you have restricted your users from sharing link to with people in gmail.com. Or you may want to allow only to companyb.com, which is your partner company. So they can externally share the data with only email addresses which are ending with companyb.com. So these are various settings which are available. These must be sync settings. So show the sync button on OneDrive website, allow syncing to only PCs joined in specific domains. So you can tell which PCs you want to be able to synchronize. So maybe you don't want users to synchronize their OneDrive on their home PC. They can only synchronize it on their Active Directory domain joined PC. So you can put the domain grid here. Block syncing of specific file types. So user are in a habit of maintaining a local large file, like a database sort of file, and you don't want them to put it on this OneDrive. So you can say that block, say asterisk dot pst files. The format of specifying it could be different, but yeah, you can Google it, what's the format. So you can block syncing certain type of files. You can say what is the storage. You can, so by default, Microsoft is giving 1 terabyte of storage, that is 1024 GB, but you may want to reduce it for the user. So you may want to say, nah, just give them 200 GB of storage. That and Microsoft also let you increase this 1 terabyte storage to 5 terabyte storage if you request them. I have seen only one user in my life who was able to fill the 1 terabyte storage, and he actually, for them, I requested Microsoft to increase it to 5 terabyte, and his storage got increased to 5 terabyte. So yeah, then retain the deleted file. So once the user have deleted the file, for how long you want to keep it, you can say 365 days, or for basically 10 years. 3650 is 10 years, so you want to keep it that long. So you have these settings available for the data retention. allow access from specific IP so that they can only do it from the office. You have all these control mobile device management, block downloading files in the app. So on their phone, you want that they should require a passcode on the OneDrive app, and there is all these settings available. Once again, self-explanatory, read through, test, apply, do these things, play around with it. You have very less capability to break anything. So have fun. And these options are available. There are compliance policies, so you can put a retention policy. I told you we are going to discuss the retention policy in a later module, but retention policy is basically you want to preserve the data in your organization for a very long amount of time, so you can create a retention policy and it will override all other settings which are available. Notifications is how the OneDrive is going to give you the notifications. Data migration. Once again, like SharePoint, it's very easy to do the migration. You can just go ahead and drag and drop the data. For simple users, it's that easy. But if you have data on Box or Google Drive or other solution, you can use various Microsoft solutions which are available. This wasn't this fun earlier. Now, Mover is a new company which Microsoft has purchased recently, I think last year, which makes the migration of data a breeze. So, yeah, they are basically taking over everything. And that's why Office 365 and Microsoft is the future. So, you can use all these options which are available here to do your data migration. Once again, these are topics in themselves. They are not that difficult. Obviously, these are common sense migration, and yeah, you should go ahead and look into these migration options when you have time and you're completed with the training. These are interesting things, and that's what makes you going to make you smarter. So yeah, that is your OneDrive admin console. Let's go back to the training. All right, so accessing SharePoint and OneDrive from client PC, I think we already did it. So the demo of SharePoint website web URL, I already showed you how the end user opens a web URL. Demo of the SharePoint components like list, how to sync a document library. I showed you the sync button which is available in these sites, and you can basically, let me close these admin centers. So all the document libraries have this sync button available. You can just click on it, and then it will get synchronized to your PC. Um, I showed you how to set up OneDrive and OneDrive Sync on your PC. Once again, this is the OneDrive client which is available. What is this client? Why is it showing two clients for me? I don't know. So this is your OneDrive client, which is maybe in next reboot this will get removed. But ideally, what happens is now in Windows 10, as soon as you launch the Windows 10 computer for the first time, it asks you for the your OneDrive sign in, and you sign into OneDrive from there itself, and then it will start synchronize all your files automatically. Your OneDrive clients, not your document libraries, other document libraries, because for them you have to go and sync them manually. So I also showed you the various settings which are available here. So as you can see that I'm synchronizing my OneDrive and I'm synchronizing auto account team side document. There are some of the settings which are available. Start OneDrive automatically when I sign into Windows, automatically push sync when this device is on metered network. So these are various options. You can back up folders on your desktop and my documents, etc. So you can do a backup whatever you want to backup, so you can enable that. So that's an amazing thing that this did not used to be there before. Network, so maybe you are on a network where OneDrive is using too much space and you're trying to watch Netflix, and that's getting impacted because of that, because OneDrive is synchronizing some data. So you can come here in network and you can define what kind of a speed you want to use for the network upload. uh, Collaboration and office application. So amazing thing with the office is that let me try to open a Word document here. The documents are always getting saved, and like I said, here it's showing saved, and then you can share the document with multiple people, and both of them can work on this document at the same time, or n number of people can work on the document at the same time, and you will see it very clearly that you are typing here and somebody else is typing here in this line and the other person is typing. So that kind of collaboration is also possible because of the OneDrive synchronization engine. So yeah, that's it for the OneDrive and SharePoint. I hope you liked it. These are very hot topics, and if you can become an expert in SharePoint alone and learn more and more about SharePoint synchronization, document libraries, migration of SharePoint to Office 365, or the on-premise file servers to Office 365, then these are very, very highly rewarding and highly paying jobs for you. So yeah, feel free to learn and do more and more stuff here. Next, the component which we have is Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a unified communication and collaboration platform that combines persistent workplace chat, video meetings, file storage, and application integration. So Microsoft Teams is a platform which integrates four things: workplace chat, which was the Skype functionality; video meetings, which was again the Skype functionality; file storage, which is a SharePoint functionality; and application integration, which is the thousand other apps which are available in Office 365. I'll just show all this to you and it will make a lot of sense to you. Why I particularly like Teams is because it provides a single interface to access so many functionalities from Microsoft Office 365 like SharePoint storage, Skype for business, audio and video, calls, keeping conversation in separate channels, etc. So let me just quickly go ahead and give you a demo of Teams. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. I was hoping that Teams should be installed on this computer. However, if it is not installed, I will just go ahead and launch this. I think it has become part of the Office installation, so it should be there. But I will just go ahead and log in here, and I will launch my web version of Teams. And if it will ask me to download the PC version, get the Windows app. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So it's getting downloaded. I'm going to install it. Quickly check. Actually, it's too late to check now because it's already installed. So yeah. All right. So welcome to Microsoft Teams. And I'm going to log in with the user account from my test tenant. All right, so still getting launched. Okay, so that's how Teams look like. Now, the good thing about Teams is that it gives you access to multiple things. This is where your chat is going on. This is a default team which got created. I have an option to create new team as well. Once again, this option gets disabled. You stop people from creating their own teams, and you usually create teams from the team admin panel. So you say create team, and you say build from scratch, and you say public or private. So who can join this team? If anybody can join it, or organization people can only join it, or only the people who you invite can join it. So you can say sales team. So the owner of the sales team went ahead and created this team for now. And what he has done here is that this is called as a channel inside a team. So sales team is like an overall team, but they might have themselves have various internal processes in which they want to segregate themselves. So they may want to add a channel about ongoing deals, and similarly they can add other channels here. Now what happens is that whoever is a part of the sales team, what this owner can do is he can go ahead and add a member, and let's say he's going to add Sam to the sales team, and he does that, and he can add Sam as a member to the team, or he can add Sam as a owner to the team. All right. So now what's going to happen? You can do all kind of chats here. Hi, what's the status of the PG deal? And everybody can see this messages. People can respond back to these messages. They can say like, or they can laugh on it, or they can reply or write something. And there are multiple conversations which are going on. So let's say if this is about PG deal, and somebody like right now it's just going to show John Doe itself because we are using this user. But if anybody else would have seen this, he would have said, I am working on it. So he would have responded on this thread. Now John, being the owner of the sales team, he will say, and what is the status of Pepsi deal? And another person in his company or in his team could have said, I got that. So you see different threads are going on, so you can keep your communication in threads, which is really amazing with Teams. Now, what you also got here was that for ongoing deals, you got files. This files is actually a document library. This is giving some kind of a error message here, which it should not, but eventually you will be able to get the files here. So you got access to your files. Now these files are actually a SharePoint document library. See? You also have an option to open it in SharePoint. You just created a team. You didn't even go to the SharePoint admin panel. It was so ugly there. Like, it's pretty pleasant now, but back in the days it used to be very difficult. The reason for people to start using SharePoint so much now is that the Teams console has made it absolutely pleasant. You just created a team. You got a mailbox for this team. Let me tell you, you also got the chat which are happening here, right? And then you got all the files. So what you can do is, once again, you can synchronize this on your PC. And if you go here, you will see sales team general data is also available. And you can, and this is once again OneDrive on demand. So new folder, sales data, test. So you are just using your own PC. You don't have to go to these ugly consoles and upload and download data. What's going to happen is that all this data is automatically going to be synchronized. See, it's here. Or if you want to add additional cloud storage. So let's say your company also has some data, the sales team also has some data on Box or on Google. You can go ahead and set those up here, and they will also show up like a folder here. So all your Box data will also be visible here. Right? And whoever you need to give access to or whoever you need to remove access from, you simply have to go here and say manage team or leave the team or add a member. It's so intuitive and it is so easy. And your communications is here, your data is here, and let me show you more. Thousands of applications that Microsoft offers. You can add forms here, you can add Excel sheet here, you can add a Power BI dashboard here, you can add whatever here. All these apps, and they are increasing every day. So you can add those things. So let's say that you want to add an Excel document here. So You will say sales Excel sheet. Maybe it is a common sheet which you guys need to refer again and again. Okay, I need to first maybe create an Excel sheet here. So I'll say Excel sales data, and so it got created, and it also opened within your admin panel in Teams. So, and you can add a tab here. Now you say Excel and you go sales data and you say so now this Excel tab is available for everybody to use, and they can quickly, they don't have to open a file, they can quickly, maybe there is some kind of a tracker or dashboard which you maintain in this Excel sheet and it is always available to you. Or you want to add a planner here. Planner is Microsoft equivalent to Trello. What you can do is you can create a planner, and under the planner you can assign responsibilities to people on various tasks. So you can create a bucket, ongoing deals, closed deals, and you can say create, I'm just writing anything, create a tracker. So this is a job and you set it to give it to Sam, and you set a date for this, the completion of this job, and you say add task. It got added, and once this is done, you can say completed work. And once this is completed, what you can do is you can do it like this, and you can move it here. So you understand, all these various apps are available. Once again, if we go back to the definition, look here. So it gives you workplace chat and video meetings, file storage, which is SharePoint, and application integration. This is what application integration is. You can create multiple tabs. You have a full control on the situation, and you don't have to go to the SharePoint and create sites there and all those things. Nobody goes to SharePoint now. Everybody creates site under Teams. It's so easy. And access and sharing is so easy because you just have to manage the team members here. Okay, so that's what is Microsoft Teams. There is an admin panel for Microsoft Teams as well. Earlier there used to be a Skype for Business admin panel. Now it is just the Microsoft Teams admin panel. Let's have a look at this admin panel. So there are so many settings which are available here because Teams is becoming a very complicated software, and these are the teams which are available in your organizations as of now, and you can go into their details and do stuff to them like an administrator. You can create team rooms, so those are available here, the settings about them, because now what's happening is that meeting rooms are becoming more and more advanced, and there are the regular meeting rooms which used to be before, now they have team enabled and Skype for Business enabled devices, and you can install those devices, and then you can join Teams meeting in a meeting room using those devices. So there are some settings about them here. You can look at the users which are enabled for Teams. You can give them different kind of settings. You can enable or disable settings for them. So these options are available for you. messaging policies are there, what you want to do about the messages. So there are various detailed settings which are available. But as a L1 user, you will be mostly dealing with Teams from the front end. Okay, Teams backend is a very complicated panel. I would recommend you to look at more videos, more trainings to understand more about Teams panel if you want to. But it's not something which you may want to do very much as of now. Okay. So that's the Teams panel. Going back to the training, what's next? Office 365 groups. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm specifically telling this to you after showing you SharePoint and Teams and how Teams is using everything like a chat and a mailbox as well is created. I'll show it to you, and then the SharePoint site it is using for a document library. So these things have come up together because of Office 365 groups. And I'm telling you all this, the Office 365 group after all these so that you can understand it better. Let me show you. Microsoft Office 365 groups is a cross application membership service in Office 365. An Office 365 administrator can define Microsoft 365 groups, add members, and benefit from features such as Exchange Shared Mailbox, SharePoint Document Library, Yammer Group, and so on. So earlier, the security groups which we have seen, they are basically that you add a bunch of people to a group and then you add that group on certain resource and you give people a permission. Whereas Office 365 group is something where when you create an Office 365 group, this group create its own resources. It creates a OneNote for itself, it creates a mailbox for itself, it creates a SharePoint site for itself, and it creates a team setup for itself. So that's what Office 365 group is. And the reason for Teams to be able to function this way, the Teams to be able to manage its members, etc., like this from here, is ultimately an Office 365 group in the backend. Let me show you here. So if I go here and if I go to groups, did we create any groups here? Do you remember us coming here and creating groups? We did not. Remember sales team? There is a Office 365 group for it. Go here. Who are the members of it? The members which you added are the members here. View all, manage members. So all these people are members. Let's say that the owner of the sales team says that to you that can you please go ahead and remove certain people from the team. So you have got two options. Either you can say, sir, you have the right, I'm not part of that team, you will have to do it yourself. Or what you can do is, without becoming part of the team, you can just come to this Office 365 group and you can remove the people from here. So I'll go ahead and remove Sam from here. There are settings available for this group, whether you want to be a private group or public group. This is based on the channel setting which you did when you were creating a channel. You in Teams, you told it that whether it has to be like anybody can join, public, private, or organization wide. So similarly, those settings are showing here: public, private. You can go to Admin Center to manage Microsoft Teams settings. Now, so this is what an Office 365 group is. Office 365 groups is a combination of multiple things which are getting created. Now I'll go to SharePoint as well. And we'll go to sites. Did you create this site? No. When you created a team, this site got created by the Office 365 groups. And once again, who are the owners of this site? The owners of this Office 365 group. Whoever is the owner in this group is going to be the owner of the site. So John Doe is here and John Doe is here. You didn't do anything. You just created something in Teams and it created a site here as well. How easy it is now. You don't have to worry about the creation of site and management of site, and everything is done automatically for you. Site owners, site members. So this is the name of the group which is showing up here. Sales team. All right. So that happened there. So this is what is an Office 365 group. So Office 365 group is the backend of the Microsoft Teams, and actually Microsoft Teams is new. Even before Microsoft Teams, Office 365 groups were launched, and at that time what we used to do was we used to create Office 365 groups from Outlook. In Outlook as well, there used to be an option to create a group, and you could create an Office 365 group from there, and you can add a few people there, and you get your own OneDrive storage. You don't have to come to SharePoint to create the sites, etc. So it was a very fun thing, and now with Microsoft Teams it has become immensely amazing. And let me show this to you as well, that when you even create a team, it asks you that if you want to build it from scratch or if there is an existing group which you want to use. So you can just go ahead and choose an existing group. So maybe accounting team said, "Oh, sales team have made a team. We also want to use it." Okay, so they go ahead and add this. Now I can't add it because of some security reasons here. But technically, if somebody who is owner of this group can go ahead and add it from here, then you can create a team for that. So Office 365 group, Teams, SharePoint, all these products are interrelated, and that's what makes them really amazing. Alright guys, so this is the end of this module. Here is what we covered. We told you what is SharePoint. We showed you what is SharePoint Online. I showed you the SharePoint Online admin panel. I gave you introduction to OneDrive, how OneDrive is used. I showed you the OneDrive admin panel. I showed you how to access SharePoint and OneDrive on a desktop. I showed you Microsoft Teams and Office 365 groups. Once again, these things, all of them are very deep technologies in themselves. But being in cloud, it is very easy to implement them, configure them. Basically, you are a user now. You don't have to be really an administrator to use this thing. All these properties and functionalities are available. You just need to know how to configure them. And it is the easy thing. Just go into these panels, get acquainted more and more with the various functionalities which are there. But from the point of view of you getting your first job and getting started with the right job, what I have given you already is more than enough. So focus on that first, get acquainted with what I have told you, or then after that, if you have more time, then you can read more and more about each and every one of these things, because team itself is becoming a career point. SharePoint has always been a huge career thing, and Exchange is a career in itself. Azure Active Directory, single sign-ons, these things are a separate career in itself. So just take a whole soul knowledge of these things as of now, and then in future you can decide in which direction you want to grow. What do you like the most? So here's your action items. Create a SharePoint site in your tenant. Create it manually initially. Look into the various settings. Try to add a list. So there is something which is called as list in SharePoint site, which probably I didn't show you. I'll show it to you. If we go here and you have created a SharePoint site, let's say you go here, site contents. So site library, site pages. You can say edit. And you can add an image, file layer, document library, group calendar, a list. So various things you can add here. So you can go ahead and create a SharePoint list. So I think this is an easier way. Work list. The list is basically a list, and you can add items here, and item one, and you can add attachment to it. So list used to be famous before, but I'm not a SharePoint regular, so I have forgotten about these things. But list is a useful thing which used to be before. But quite honestly speaking, you may not even need it anymore. So yeah, just work around list if you want to get a hang of it. But then if you do list, then there are 1,000 other things which you can learn about SharePoint more. So it's not a big deal if you get some demos, if you are able to play around with these pages, if you are able to make changes to these pages, that's amazing. Try to do more and more components which you can add here. See how many sections you can add, or what kind of sections which are available, and then see what all options you can add in these sections. Yeah, so this is pretty much decoration of your SharePoint site and making it more and more useful. So try to do that. Now, sync SharePoint site document library to your PC. I already showed you using the sync button. Share SharePoint site with users. I showed you how you share the SharePoint sites using the share button somewhere. So you republish it, and you basically go. Okay, so you can't maybe share this site because it's a team site from here. You need to share it from Teams. But if you create your own theme site here, then you might have the option to see, there is an option here, create a team. So you can go here, and these are the members, and you can say add member, and this is how you go ahead and put the name of another person, and you can share it with him. So I was showing you. So this is how you share the team. You also are getting an option here in accounting team side to create a team. So this way the team will get created. Okay, so that's also one way. They have done a very nice cross integration between various applications. You can jump from one application to another application, and they get really merged with each other really nicely. So hey, I got the team here. The accounting team also have a team now. So yeah, that's Microsoft Teams. Set up OneDrive on demand. I showed you the checkbox in OneDrive so that only the documents which you really download gets downloaded, and you don't use the space on your PC. I showed you how to free up the space after you have used those documents. You can share OneDrive with external users. I already showed you how to do that. Right click on any folders, share, and share it with external users. If the policies in your organization allows you to do that, once again, you are the administrator, you can change the policies, then you will be able to share them. Create a public link with an expiry date. Like I showed you, when you create a public link, you get an option to set an expiry date. So do those things. So that's it, guys. There is a lot more which you can do in SharePoint and OneDrive, but I can't really go into the details of each and everything, because then the training will become a 6-week trainings for Office 365 alone. Whereas this is just a fundamental training. So just get a hang of these things, become familiar with these things, because if you learn all these things, you will be able to answer 90% of the questions, and in fact more than 100% questions of an entry-level interview. Okay, and then the world is your OSS. Go ahead and learn as much as you want about SharePoint, OneDrive, and there is a lot more which you can learn and think about these things. So that's it for this module. I will see you in the next module soon.